Thanks for listening to another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is a Froggy Wednesday. We are here today with Korn Ferry graduate playing on the PGA Tour, Brent Grant. Brent, thank you so much for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, it's an absolute honor, dude. I'm ready to get it out.
How awesome does that sound? PGA Tour member Brent Grant.
Well, it's I guess it's been a long time coming, but no, it's like I said, man, it's an honor, and to be considered among one of the best in the world is kind of surreal.
That really is unreal. So our off season is officially over. We do have the shortest off season. This is the last one of this short period because there are changes coming next year on the PGA Tour. Back to golf this week in Napa, California at the Fortinet. Max Homa defending. It is crazy. It seems like Rory just won the Tour Championship, just won the FedEx Cup. I know the BMW Championship played, by the way, only 54 holes, it is kind of funny that event ended up going 54 holes. The reason is not funny, but the fact that they ended up playing 54 holes after Rory has, made plenty of comments about 54 holes was kind of funny. But yeah, back to golf this week. How excited are you to get your you played on other PGA Tour events, but to get your PGA Tour career with your card underway?
Again, man, it's a privilege, and it's kind of humbling, because obviously, as you said, I've sort of dipped my toes in a couple of times with a couple of Monday qualifiers and whatnot, but nothing comes close to sitting in that orientation this weekend and then sort of trying to wrap my head around what's getting ready to happen. And I played 9 holes this morning with Ricky Fowler, which is unbelievable. And the day just kind of got crazier and crazier as it went on. So, hopefully tomorrow will be that same way, and then we can just have a great week and hopefully have a chance to win on Sunday.
It's crazy when you think about it. So I'm sure you're a young guy. You grew up probably watching Ricky Fowler, and then now Monday you're out there playing golf with Ricky Fowler. I saw it on your Instagram story. Is there any point where you've kind of stopped, whether you say it out loud or you just think to yourself like, holy shit, this is really happening?
I've said it out loud several times. I said it out loud a lot in the meetings, specifically like with the financials and stuff like that. My head was in my hands and just sort of laughing the whole time. But it's ridiculous what we get to do out here, man. It truly is an absolute privilege, but at the same time, man, we've earned it, and everybody on my team knows that this is only the beginning, and we're excited.
So I was looking up, doing a little research on you here. I figured, so let me get this straight. Born in Jacksonville, Florida, which is just up the road from where I am. I'm in Ponte Vedra, home of the PGA Tour. You did high school in Hawaii, and now you live in Chandler, Arizona. That's a pretty wide, vast, swath of area. So exactly how does one go from Jacksonville all the way to Hawaii and then back to Arizona?
Well, what's crazy is I was born in Jax. My dad was stationed he's in the Navy, was stationed in Charleston actually right after that. So we moved there, which is even further east, right. And then moved to Hawaii for the first time, then moved back to the States, moved to Wisconsin, moved back to Hawaii after that. And then I moved from Hawaii to California, and then California to Arizona in the last 2 years. So wow. It's been an interesting road. Not all of that was spent golfing, and the fact that I'm able to do this and live where I'm able to live and do what I'm able to do it's insane. And every day I wake up in the morning and I try to be as thankful as I possibly can.
Yeah. When did you start playing golf?
About 12 or 13. So I grew up
late. That's late. That's late nowadays.
Yeah, it's very late. I mean, even talking about, some of the guys I grew up with, they started playing when they were 2 or 3, and
wow.
And so I'm 10 years behind a lot of these guys. But honestly, man, I've sort of, it's weird to say this because obviously we're talking about the very first week of my PGA Tour career, but I really feel like I've figured out that if you just try and do the best you can to be humble and thankful and whatnot, and work hard, you're really going to continue to improve. And that's what I've tried to do throughout this entire time, and that's why I'm here.
Well, we'll get into it later, but the fact is that there is the talent depth on the Korn Ferry Tour. People don't realize how amazingly good Corn Ferry Tour players are. And that's the thing, is that everybody just sees, the big boys on the PGA Tour. But the truth is, there is a very deep talent pool on the Corn Ferry Tour. And that's why I believe, and I've said this plenty of times on the podcast since we've had the live conversation. Oh, there we go. It took us 5 minutes to have the word live.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. So that's why I do believe the PGA Tour is fine. I believe it's super healthy because as we have lost some people who have gone over, I do believe that there are guys that are going to be the next, whether it's the next Dustin Johnson, whether it's the next Brooks Koepka, whether it's the next Bryson DeChambeau. We have so much talent. Corn Ferry Tour is so deep, and we'll get into that because I know you've played on the Corn Ferry Tour, so you understand that. But you secured your PGA Tour card a couple weeks ago, made a birdie on the 18th hole at the Corn Ferry Championship. Now, did you know on the tee box on 18 that you needed a birdie to get in?
So I bogeyed 16 and 17, right? And I knew, and I was playing really well. I mean, I think I had 7 birdies up until that point and was playing really well, stuffing it all over the place and just doing a really good job of controlling myself. And then all of a sudden, you get a little two punches right in the throat, and then you're sort of like, okay, I really hope I hit this fairway here on 18. And once I did that, I saw the scoreboard, and I sort of was like, okay, so I'm 20th, projected 20th. And I had no idea what was going to happen behind me or who was on the other side of the golf course finishing and whatnot. So it turned out that I didn't need to make it, but it basically gained me, well, a ton of clout seemed like,
Yeah.
obviously, since I'm sitting here, and then also it gave me 10 spots in the rankings, so in the reorder rankings. So, and I know how important that is. So I mean, I didn't think necessarily that I needed to make it, but I was telling my caddy and my coach, who was standing there in the crowd, I was like, I got to make this putt. I'm going to make this putt.
So the putt was 50 some feet?
Oh, I'd say it was probably, 45, 40, somewhere in 40 to 50 foot range.
So standing over it, you were thinking, I'm going to make this, not just cozy
Oh,
it
yeah.
up there.
No, I literally told my caddy to keep the pin in because I was going to hit this and it was going to get to the hole. But then I hit it, and I was literally, man, I'm telling you, I hit the putt exactly where I was looking, exactly how I thought I needed to hit the putt, and it went literally, it was as if I painted the picture myself, and
Wow.
and then the rest is history.
That is. I love the celebration. To see the celebration of I mean, that's like you said, you started playing golf when you're 13 years old, and not that at 13 years old you were trying to get your PGA Tour card, but anyways, that's years of hard work and dreams coming together, coming true on one putt. And to see that happen, that's where all that emotion comes from.
Certainly. No, 100%. And that's, yeah, you're spot on. There's no reason to sit there and try to make any more or any less of it. I mean, it legitimately is, every bit of that was finally.
Yeah.
I mean,
So earning your card, obviously dream come true, but what does it mean as far as for the average person who doesn't understand? When you get your card, it doesn't mean you get into every single PGA Tour event. What exactly does it mean?
so it puts you in a category that I would say is, maybe, well, I mean, technically it's second from the bottom, third from the bottom. So the guys that are behind us, from what I understand, eligibility wise, are the 126 to 150 from the year prior, and the past champion guys. So obviously the 126 to 150 is a finite group of guys, and the past champion is just, however many years that they want to go back. But then there's ahead of us, there's the 125 from the year prior. There's tournament champions and all these different things. So, and then obviously sponsors invites and whatnot as well. So I would say
Sponsors invites are ahead of you guys.
From what I understand, yeah. So
Wow.
so they are guaranteed spots. So there's no whether you're eligible. So there's unrestricted, there's restricted, there's any number of things that sort of come through. Either way, it's a like I said, a finite group of guys, and it's a finite group of spots. So for us, we have anywhere from 45 to 50 guys in our category. And for example, in this week, everybody's here. the Sony, it's possible that everybody's going to be there. But Waste Management, maybe one or two or three of us will get in.
Now, how do they choose those 1, 2, or 3? Is it the guys that are playing the best at that time?
So it's solely based. So in the fall there is no reshuffle, right? So a reshuffle is when I'm sure you know this, but a reshuffle is when X number of events go by and you take the rankings from those events in that category. So let's say it's 50 guys, and those 50 guys played 6 events, and out of those 6 events, let's say the bottom 10 guys all played better than everybody else. Well, now they're the top 10 guys.
Oh, okay.
And so that's
So
how
that
the
birdie
reorder
putt did
rankings
help
go.
your reshuffling process as these first tournaments are played.
Certainly, yeah. So it already put me in a position where instead of being 40th in the let's call it the first reshuffle was Corn Ferry Tour Finals.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody that went through that had their card was in the reshuffle, and everybody that got their card through the finals is also in the reshuffle. So it made me 31st instead of 40th, which is 9 spots. That's a pretty substantial deal. So.
Right. So you get your first win, obviously, this past year in May at the Simmons Bank in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was that first win? And did you feel like a ton of bricks lifted off your shoulder, like, hey, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, I cried for like 4 hours. So, but
Love that.
no, yeah, I mean, it was tough. It brought me to my knees. Rob, one of the rules officials there, was a guy that was with me from pretty much all the way from pre-qual because he runs the ones in California, all Q schools there, and all the way through obviously getting my first win, which was I played my first Q school in 2017, so 5 years running, and so that was pretty cool. And then obviously my caddy was there, and he's an emotional guy, and we worked hard, and yeah, man, it was an absolute blessing, and I was on Mother's Day and my dad's birthday and
Wow.
all these cool things. So everything, I felt like the stars aligned a little bit that week because I certainly didn't hit the ball great, but I only like missed like 2 or 3 up and downs. So yeah, and then I said this as I was standing on the 18th green for shit, it felt like 3.5 hours. But I- it proved that not only could I compete on the PGA Tour, but I believe that I can win on the PGA Tour because, like you said in the beginning, the depth of the field on the Korn Ferry Tour is just as good, if not, or close to, if not just as good as any field on the PGA Tour.
Yes, I think a lot of people don't realize that. They go and see somebody who's good at their local muni or their local club, and they think, oh, that guy's good. They don't understand that the guy that finishes at the bottom of the Corn Ferry event, the guy that finishes last on the Corn Ferry Tour, if that guy showed up at your local muni or like your local club, he would kick everybody's ass. They're up and down the golf course all day long.
With his eyes closed. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I asked guys this week, or not guys, but some of the staff members, what is the difference between us and the PGA Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, and the PGA Tour, and literally they all said it's experience and it's mental. That's it. Which you could boil that down to any number of phrases, obviously belief
Right.
and yada yada yada. But yeah, it's it's insane where American golf and PGA Tour is going.
It really is. As you prepare for your first event, how nervous are you come tomorrow morning when you tee it up? How nervous are you right now?
I just got off the phone with my dad about an hour, and he said, "Dude, it sounds like you're high. Like you sound like you are legitimately like baked out of your mind and just super relaxed." So, I've played this golf course several times. I've played it when it's in its worst condition in like December, and it's 40 and raining and blowing
Wow.
and everything's soft, and now everything's firm and fast and pure. I mean, it's like putting and chipping and hitting on like just glass. I mean, it's stupid how clean it all is. So, um, and these guys do a great job, obviously, but I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. And am I nervous? Yeah, absolutely. But my girlfriend tells me all the time, nervous and excitement are the exact same thing. So,
Right.
um,
Nervous means you
and
care.
yeah, exactly. And I'll be frank with you, man. My job out here is to play the best possible golf that I can play. And the PGA Tour is the best possible place to do that because it truly takes care of every little thing you could possibly think of and it brings it out, whether it's golf course management or food or PT and all these other things. And I had no idea that it was like this, and it's blown me away, and it probably will blow me away for a long time. But right now, man, I'm ready to tee it up on Thursday and kick these guys' ass.
You'll see a lot of familiar faces out there because, like you said, everybody from they graduated up is going to be there. Guys like Justin Suh, who won the points, and you've got a lot of guys. I think Sam Stevens is going to be out there this week. So there are a lot of guys. Does that give you a little bit of comfort knowing that there are going to be some other guys that are doing it for the first time too?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, but even guys that have been around for a year or two, and some of the veterans that I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to meet. Obviously we've got Jason Gore now that is sort of on the other side. I just got his number today, and he's like, call me anytime. So I'm like, I just feel like, obviously, like guys like Eric Barnes and Brandon Matthews and these guys that have been through the crucible so many times and have finally made it on the PGA Tour, and sort of kind of witnessing that myself and going through that myself, and it makes me, like I said, that much more confident that we're in the right place.
Sometimes you go out and play with your buddies. I know, like, amateur guys, you can play with your buddies and you think, man, that guy's really good. I got like no shot. Did you feel at all like, just like, if, for example, Monday you played with Ricky, when watching him hit the ball and then you hit the ball, you're like, you know what? I can do this. I can hang with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, actually. I mentioned to him that his swing looks unbelievable. And my coach was out there. I'm like, his swing looks exactly the same as when he was like winning and like top fiving in every major and all this other
Right.
stuff.
I remember that year.
And I'm like, this shit is good. But like, I'm looking at him and I'm like, he hits this tight little draw and, hits it pretty much the same way I do and putts it the same way I do. And I hit it about 30 past him, and, but
It
I'm
is a
sitting there
distance
picking
game.
his brain.
It really is an
But
absolute distance game.
honestly, a course like this week doesn't matter, because it's so firm on the greens. Fairway is a premium, being in the right distance is a premium. And I think where I sort of have gotten lost over, sort of just in the different thought processes, is when it comes to these guys, it's just like, how much better actually are they? And it has nothing to do with how their swing looks or even how they hit the ball. It's how they execute when it's on. When it needs to happen, do they execute? And the answer is every time it's yes. Right.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter today. I don't remember who posted, but I saw something. He said that so many people, has nothing to do with their golf swing, has nothing to do with their ball striking. It's how they execute and what they're trying to do. It's sometimes you're trying to hit a shot that is absolutely impossible to do when you'd be better off to just take your medicine. And so it is. It's just execution. Knowing when you're in a bad spot, take your medicine, get out of there, and get up and down. And sometimes there is a such thing as a good bogey instead of turning a good bogey into a double or a triple.
That's exactly what he said. We were talking about this tight pin on the right of number 11, the par 3, and or 14, I think it was actually 14. And we're like, if the pin's over here, and because there's a bowl and whatnot, and the way the green shapes, and I said, so why would you even go at the pin and try to fly it in the hole? He's like, well, if you're feeling it, do it. But if you're not, right, why would you put yourself in a position where you could, if you miss it a little bit, you're screwed, when if you miss it a little bit and you're aiming here, you're actually better off, right? So if you pull it a little bit long left, it comes back down. If you push it a little bit and you were aiming left, it'll fly towards the hole. And if you hit it dead nuts perfect, you'll have 15 feet left of the pin, and it'll be great. But I think that's a lot better of a strategy than sitting there going, well, I'm going to aim at the hole, and then if I miss it, great. But it's actually, no, I'm going to hit it over there, because I know either way, if I miss it left or right, I'm not going to have an issue.
Yeah,
I can't take that's exactly, yeah.
I can't take credit for this, but I saw Peter Costas, who used to be on CBS, was on Twitter over the weekend talking how proximity to the hole sometimes can be misleading. Because,
yes,
like, for example, let's say that you aim 20 feet left of the hole and you hit it 2 feet right of the hole. Your proximity is going to show that you hit it 2 feet. The truth is you missed your target by 22 feet. So proximity sometimes is misleading because you're not exactly sure where they're aiming at.
That's correct. That's 100%. Yeah, I mean, I know in my just in my little bit on the Corn Ferry Tour, last couple 3 years, there have been multiple occasions where I'm like, if I hit it 15 feet right and I happen to pull it a little bit, I'm going to stuff it, and I tend to pull it. So I can rely on that as a miss, and I think that you know it's never going to be the guy that hits every shot exactly the way he wants to hit it, because that never happens.
Right.
So, and I think that you're spot on there. I mean, it is misleading, and stats are misleading, and I think that anybody that tells you that for example, even Tiger, that the shots that he hit, he was absolutely trying to hit it right there every time. It didn't happen.
No,
I know he
nobody's that
says
good.
it didn't. Yeah, I mean, Ben
Right.
Hogan himself was like, I would miss, 95% of my shots, and it's all about how you manage it and whatnot. But
Yeah, I mean, last
yeah,
year at the
man,
Players, Cam Smith, he admitted there's no way if you watch that on 17 in the final round, he hit the ball right of the pin. As you know, that pin's already on the
yep,
right side of the green. There might be 3 or 4 paces between that and the water.
hmm
He hit it right of the green. It looked gorgeous, and when you go back and watch it, it looks perfect. It's like, wow, what a
but
brave
he's
shot.
leaning like,
Yeah,
oh
the truth
god,
is he
yeah,
pushed that a little
yeah,
bit, and
yeah.
that's
He
the thing
absolutely
is
did.
that
Ricky did the same thing. Yeah,
right. So, listen, that's why proximity to the hole can be a little bit misleading because you don't know where they're aiming. And sometimes, like you said, you pull one, you're aiming a little right, you pull one, you pull it left, you look like you stuffed it in there, and you're like, we got away with one there.
yes. All right, cool. Moving
Right.
on.
Where
Yeah, thanks.
had you been aiming at the pin, you would have missed the green. And that's
hmm
exactly why these stats are sometimes misleading. But as you see these familiar faces, if there's somebody you are kind of hoping to be paired with this week,
Um,
would
it's
you like
tough
to be
because
paired with some Corn Ferry guys just because you're
oh,
comfortable with them?
well, I know I will be. I mean, there's
Oh,
no
you will be.
doubt.
Okay.
Just based on how the pairing gets set up, and what category you're in. They have different. If you've won, you're in like a certain category and whatnot. And you get a certain level of tee time. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be paired with probably. I don't know even know if there is a Monday qualifier for this week. I don't really
Right.
care, but
Right. You don't have to do that
I
anymore.
might. Nope. So, and if I get paired with some Mondays and some past champions and some Corn Ferry Tour guys, that's great. But, um, I told Ricky today, I was like, man, I'll see you late on Saturday and Sunday, and he's like, yep, all day long. I'm like, perfect.
That's
So,
awesome. Speaking of your tournaments looking ahead, obviously you're playing this week. Then we've got President's Cup. And then I think we pick back up after President's Cup. Sanderson Farms, I think, is the tournament after
correct.
that. Then I think it's Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Um, as you get ready, you got to have the date circled on your calendar next January because living in Hawaii, going to high school in Hawaii, you had to have played golf course that the Sony's played on at
hmm
Wailea there. You've got to have that circled as next year in Oahu.
Yeah, man, we gotta ask an orientation. What is your event on the PGA Tour? And it's the Sony. It's 100% it. I'm grateful for obviously for every opportunity I've ever been given by that entire state and its golf and all of its people. Specifically Wailea. That's where I got my career started. I played as an amateur in the Sony in 2017, and
Oh, wow.
and yeah, and got some great advice from some guys, Ken Duke, Honorable Lahiri, those guys, and it'd be cool to, or it's not going to be cool. It's or no, it would be no, fuck that. It is cool because I know I'm going to be there,
Yeah.
and it's going to be unbelievable because a goal of mine for pretty much since I turned pro was to stop playing the Sony Monday qualifier, and to tee it up as a PGA Tour pro, and knowing that everybody and their dog can plan for it, and it's not this, well, if I get in
Right.
this and whatever. There's no what ifs anymore.
Right.
It's just play good and go get after it.
Next January, you will be standing on the tee, teeing it up at a PGA Tour event at the Sony Open at
Yes,
Wailea.
sir.
I mean, that really is.
Yep.
Obviously, your parents must be over the moon proud.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible. They're going to be here this week, and it sucks they weren't there for either the win nor Indiana, but um, they've been with me every step of the way, and they've made an inordinate amount of sacrifices, and I'm getting close to being able to pay that back
Wow,
tenfold, hopefully. So
that's
that's
badass.
going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that.
That is cool. So on Monday, we saw that David Puig, I think that's how you say his last name, has decided to leave ASU for a senior season, and he's going to live. He's
Good for
decided
him.
to stop playing and head over to live. How much live talk is there on the Corn Ferry Tour?
There was a fair amount for a long time. Even early on in the year when there was talk about the live tour and what was going to happen, and if this then this and all this other stuff, and all different veterans and different disgruntled guys had different opinions than guys like myself, guys that are really green and sort of still look at the PGA Tour as, and to be honest, we'll continue to look at the PGA Tour as the best place to play golf. But honestly, it's been crazy because I think honestly what they've done is uh, maybe not what they intended. They thought that by taking those that and listen, anybody that's gone, they believe that they've made the best decision for them, and I'm in complete support of what these guys, believe is right for them. I can't judge them because I'm not in their shoes.
Right.
I'm in my shoes, and my best decision is to be here. So, but other than that, man, there was a ton of talk, and as you know, there's a lot of guys that feel a certain way about the PGA Tour. I'm sure behind closed doors, you've had plenty of conversations with guys, but
Yeah.
especially guys that have kind of come on and off the tour and
Mhm.
maybe are towards the end of their careers in general.
Yeah, for some
Um,
people, I understand why they went. Like, it made sense. I don't
yeah,
like it. I mean, I've been very clear about it here, and I'll say it again. I don't like where the money comes from. I understand some people who have probably feel like they're not going to win again on the PGA Tour, or maybe they've never won on the PGA Tour, and it's just not going to happen because, listen, you don't have to be Albert Einstein to figure out. Watch a couple other guys hit golf balls and see the talent around you. It probably is a little better than what you are. And so if this place over here is willing to offer you all this money to go do that, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. My issue came with the guys that didn't want to sue the tour to come back and play. Like, hey, wait a second. You had a home, you had a place to play. You decided to leave. You knew if you left what the repercussions were. You left. Now you want to come back and sue to play the place that you left. Like, that's where my issue lied. But either way, some people I don't blame. There are some guys that I thought would go that didn't go, and I'll be honest with you. One of them was Ricky. I thought
yeah,
Ricky was a goner. I really did, and I think that there was a time that he was really considering going. For whatever reason, he decided not to go, and I respect the fact that he didn't go.
yeah. I mean, you're way more plugged in, over there in Florida golf than I am. I'm sure with some of the guys that are relatively close to Ricky, or close enough to at least get his opinion. But I didn't ask him, and honestly, we have mutual friends that want him to go. And I don't blame those friends for wanting Ricky to be a part of whatever that is.
Mhm.
And again, at the end of the day, uh, what I've sort of kind of gotten back to is money is no money in this world is clean anymore. And
Yeah.
I think that if you break down why somebody would go, I think you almost have to remove kind of the morality from it. And I think their decision to go was solely based off of a short term sort of, maybe I'm on my way out sort of payday. And when you make decisions like that, it's sort of a toss up, it's a coin toss. And unfortunately, and it is unfortunate because obviously these are great players and big names and they've done good things for the sport. However, uh, as I discovered this week in orientation, uh, we make a pretty good living on the PGA Tour. And if you decide that that's not what you want to do, and there's some place that you want to go, that's on you.
Right.
but it's pretty clear that because we make such a good living, we have to protect it. So,
Right.
and
If you want to
honestly,
go, but you're not going to do both, and you're not coming back.
the worst thing that I've seen so far is so you didn't sue before the FedEx Cup playoffs to get
Right.
into the other events.
Right.
You sued to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs because, well, guess what? Oh, I know why. Because there's a shitload of money that's in
Right.
those events.
Right.
Because the other events you don't think of as all that important.
Right.
But guess what? You have to play those not important events to get into the buttload of money events.
Correct. And then
So
you have the other one that sued to get into the BMW championship and then plays a shitty first round and then decides I'm going to withdraw and then ends up at the Texas A&M Alabama. I mean, the Texas Alabama game, Sergio. That
oh,
was
I
a
didn't
bad
know
look.
about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he sued to get into they were going after the DP tour, the European tour. And they got a temporary order.
Mhm.
They were able to play. He played one round. Then, unfortunately, the Queen passed away and they delayed. He didn't play very well. I think he shot 76, if I'm not mistaken, in the first round. Withdrew, didn't give a reason for withdrawal, and then showed up Saturday at the Texas game in Austin against Alabama, standing on the sidelines. I'm like, that's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, again, and Sergio and his family are well taken care of, I'm sure, and have been for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and that's great for them. Um, but you know, again,
Everybody makes their own decisions.
yeah, and I think that what I can't speak for a lot of the other guys. I know that there are a lot of guys still on the PGA Tour that know that they can compete, and they're in their late 30s, early 40s, and even some of the guys that are nearing 50. I can guarantee you, Ryan Palmer, Kevin Streelman, and Charlie Hoffman don't give a shit about any of the young guys that are coming up
Right.
because they're like, oh well, I can beat your ass with my left hand tied behind my back, so
Right.
fuck you.
Right.
So it's it, and honestly, that attitude is why they are the way they are and
Right.
why they've been so successful. So
It is.
as
It's
long as you
exciting
have
to
that
hear that.
attitude, you're just
It's
not
exciting
gonna
to
have
hear
any
Ricky's
issues.
playing well again. It really is because I know
It looks great
I know he changed caddies. I know he's changed swing coach. He was going back to Butch, is what I read.
from what I
Um,
understand. Yeah.
but it's good to see that you played with him on Monday and you've seen him around and he is striking the ball well again.
Oh yeah, he looks great. The sound is great. He looks unbelievable.
How's he rolling
Um,
it? Because there was a time if you remember, there was a time he was arguably the best putter on tour at one time.
You know, it's so funny. I talked to him on, I think 16 is what it was, and we were talking about putting, and I said, on greens like this, it's pretty tough to miss putts. Like if you're missing putts, it's because you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Now, it's not. I'm not sitting here saying that putting is easy because it's
Right.
not, because it's all mental. But
But the
but
greens are doing what you think they're going to do.
oh my God, they're unbelievable. And it's like obviously you play like Torrey and some of the Bermuda events, and it's a little different. But out here, I mean, these greens are like, I mean, it's like God painted them. It's unbelievable. And it's and I talked to him. I said, for you, being obviously historically an unbelievable putter, he's like, yeah, it's been a little spotty the last couple of years or whatever. And I said, yeah, but from what I understand historically, exactly right, like this idea of this guy that hasn't necessarily played well, and he's even sort of doubted a big, huge part of his game.
Yeah.
But I looked him dead square in the face. I go, dude, fucking just go back to doing whatever you were doing. Like,
Right.
you're fucking unbelievable.
I
Like,
know.
it's stupid how good he was, and it is.
Sometimes you keep trying
And
to change it and trying to get better when in reality what you're doing was pretty damn good. I mean, the year he finished top 5 in every major, I would say whatever he was doing then, that was around the same time he won the Players. The Players was like maybe a year or two before that.
yeah, 100%. And we were talking about a pendulum, golf game, and is in general like a pendulum, and you feel like you're going one way, maybe a little bit too far, and you start missing in a certain direction, and then that you can get back by doing the opposite, and it just sort
Mhm.
of you try to stay in the middle, and he's
It's a
been on
crazy
both
game.
sides. He's been on both sides, 100%. He's been on both sides, and he's on his way back, and fuck, that dude's it's gonna be a great year or two for him for sure, at the very
That's
least.
good. I'm excited to see it. Well, Brent, man, listen, man, wish you all the best of luck, man. It's so just excited, happy for you, proud, just everything, man. Good luck. But before we let you go, I got to ask you, we do a quick emergency 9. I'll ask you quick 9 questions. You just give me the first answer that comes to mind. Number 1, the best golf shot you've ever hit in your career.
Best golf shot I've ever hit in my career was probably the 5-iron on 14 on Sunday in Indiana. 216 up the hill into the wind. I hit it to 4 feet.
Where does the putt rank on 18?
Pretty far up there, but
Yeah.
14 was a big moment.
Favorite sports team or athlete?
Favorite athlete would probably have to be Cody Bellinger from the Dodgers, also my favorite team.
Okay. All right. Cool deal. Go-to food on the road?
Chicken parm, Olive Garden.
Nice. Where does Chick-fil-A rank?
Really fucking close.
Really close. Most famous number in your cell phone?
Fuck. I don't know. I just got Jason Gore's number. That's pretty fucking
Nice.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Ricky Fowler?
Not yet. Not quite there yet.
Okay.
We'll get that number, I'm sure, once I've won about 12 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably. I
right.
have a country music star that's his name's George Burge. He's fucking unbelievable. That's probably
nice. Cool.
Celebrity wise, yeah.
Player that you will be most nervous to be paired with on the PGA Tour?
Rory McIlroy.
Really?
Yeah.
More than Tiger.
Well, so the cool thing about Tiger is I know where he's at, and I know his background, and we have a very similar background.
Mm-hmm.
Rory, considering we're the same stature, and I basically idolized the guy and tried to build my entire game the way he did, even have the same sort of bounce as he does. Yeah, I mean, especially now everything that he's doing, that'll be tough not to fucking fuck it up in some way. But
that's badass. If you weren't a pro golfer, what would you be doing?
Professional baseball. Well, if I had my pick, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you could do whatever you wanted to do if you didn't play golf, what would you do?
MLB. Man,
MLB.
without a doubt. Absolutely.
All right. Okay, here's one, and this will start an argument, but I'm asking anyways. Does a hole-in-one on a par 3 course count?
Absolutely, hole-in-one's a hole-in-one.
Okay. So I had one earlier this week. I was playing with a buddy of yours, Brad Druitt.
Never heard of him. I don't know what you're talking about. He's awesome. He's such a good dude.
We were on a par 3 course doing a charity thing, playing 100 holes. And I didn't end up playing 100 holes. I played quite a few, but didn't play 100. But had a hole-in-one on a 90-some yard par 3. But it landed, went in, boom. Some people are like, par 3 course doesn't count. I'm like, no, a hole-in-one is a hole-in-one.
Those are the guys that have never had a hole-in-one, by the way.
Correct, exactly. In the gym, cardio or weights?
Weights. All
right. Music on the golf course?
Hard rock. Metal.
Really? Okay. All right. So you're cool with music on the golf course, though?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I love music on the golf course. So what's your schedule moving forward? We'll see you this week at the Fortinet. Then next week off for the President's Cup, which I think,
yep.
I think it's going to be a lot better than people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more competitive. I think people think USA is just going to completely annihilate it. I think the European people, the European players are going to put up I'm not saying they're going to win. I think it'll be a closer fight than they think.
You got to remember, right? So it's not the European, it's the international.
International, yeah.
Right. So but yeah, I think that's what you were thinking. But yeah, dude. I mean, they're great players. Hideki Matsuyama is obviously fucking unbelievable. I was practicing next to him today.
Adam Scott.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some good players out there.
Oh yeah, but we're gonna wax them.
Yeah, I think so too. I do too. I think so too.
I have to say that it's just the way it's gonna be. So
after that's the Sanderson Farms. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir.
And will you play every fall series event?
So so if everything goes completely perfect and I'm able to win one of the first 2 events that I play, either this week or Sanderson, I'll play possibly Zozo, Shriners. Shriners is already a possible, and then I think Mayakoba, Butterfield is a definite, Shriners and Mayakoba are possible. Butterfield's a definite, and RSM is more than likely. So I'd like to play hopefully 4 to 6 events would be pretty cool.
And when you say possible, it just means whether you qualify for them, not whether you want to play. You'll play any event you qualify for at this point.
Yeah, if I'm in 50 events this season, I'm in 50 events, and I'm playing 50 events.
I love that because we see so many people that are like,
awesome.
I want to play less golf. I'm like, no. Brent's like, I want to play as much as they'll let me tee it up.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Especially with the amount of money that's about to be made.
God, that's so awesome, dude. Well, good luck, Brent, man. Good luck, man. I hope you play well. Hope you have a great week. We'll definitely be following along, and we'll have you back on after you win, without a doubt. Don't forget the Stripe Show podcast when you win, and I text you. I'm like, hey, you want to come on? You're like, who the hell is this?
Well, dude, it's been, like I told you, I almost missed it, man. I legitimately looked at my phone like, fuck, I totally forgot. And thankfully you were gracious enough to allow the reschedule.
No worries. So. We're very gracious of your time. Good luck to you. Hope you have a great week, and enjoy your week off during the President's Cup. I'm sure you'll be watching, and then we'll be following along at the Sanderson Farms as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Have a good one, man.